In today's video, we'll be talking about the Ivantoy, the powerful and easy to use Pixie server solution. Ivantoy is an enhanced version of the Pixie server designed to simplify the process of booting and installing operating system on multiple machines simultaneously through a network. With Ivantoy, you can effortlessly boot and install operating system on multiple machines at the same time. No complicated configurations are needed. Just place your ISO file in a specified location and select on the client machine. Setting up Ivantoy is straightforward. So let me show you how we can do that. Here I am on Ivantoy website, which is ivantoy.com. And here, if you click on downloads, you can see here these are three options which are available. One of the options says the Ivantoy Win 64-bit or Windows 64-bit, then is for Windows 32-bit, and then the last one is for the Linux, which is again free. So you can use any of these installation medias, and in case you want to see the documentations and frequently asked questions and so on, but don't worry about that. I'll be guiding you in this particular tutorial that how you can get started with Ivantoy. So if you click on download link, you will see all these three installation options. Source code is also available in case you are familiar with how to modify the source code. Otherwise, we'll be going with the Linux version here, and I'll be installing this on Ubuntu as a Linux container in Proxmox. So if you go here to Proxmox, so I'll be creating a new container here inside the Proxmox. Of course, you can use it on any Linux VM also, but I'll be creating Linux container for easy and quick setup. So I'll be going here to PVE and I'll create the container here, and that container name I'll be giving Ivantoy, and password I'll be using for the root. Click next. Template I'll be choosing from my local storage, and that local storage has the template already available. You can use Debian also, but I'll be using Ubuntu 22.04. Click next. Disk I'll be using local LVM or local disk for this particular tutorial. You can of course use any disk which is available to you, so local LVM will be fine, and the disk size will be depending upon you, that if you have multiple ISO images that you will be using on your home lab or in your office. For example, if you want to use Windows installation media, Linux or Ubuntu installation media, VMware installation media, and anything, I'll be using, for example, Proxmox installation media also, and I might use some other ISO images also. 32 GB in my case will be more than enough, but it all depends on you what you want to have. So 32 GB as a storage, and then I'll keep it default core 1, and RAM also 512 is enough, but I'll be going with 1 GB of the RAM. Click next. Here on the network setting, I'll be using the IP address IPv4 192.168.240.9. This will be my IP. In your case, you can use anything, and /24-bit, and here the gateway will be 192.168.240.1. I'll click next. One thing that you have to see here is the network. If I show you, I'm using VMware 1 for this purpose. Here, if you go, VMware 1 is my 240 range, so I'll be using VMware 1 for bridge for this purpose. Click next. DNS I'll leave default and confirm. You can see here that unprivileged is enabled right now, so I'll go back here in the general setting, and unprivileged I will be disabling, and click next, next, and on end you can come and finish. Now if I go to Ivantoy, so I'll just start it first of all, and let me see if everything is fine. Ivantoy, root and password. So I'm logged into this machine. So if I come here to options, so of course there are various options available. You won't be able to make the changes to some of the configurations, and if you want to make the changes, you can go to the main PVE shell, and from there you can make the changes. If you cat /etc/pve/lxc/121, which is the Linux container .conf, you can see the configuration of this which is available, and here it doesn't show me the unprivileged. In case if you want to see a 120, in 120 you can see that container is unprivileged and it is selected as yes. So I need to edit that. I will be editing 121, which is Ivantoy, to make sure that container is not unprivileged. So I will go here, instead of cat I will do nano editor, and I will edit the configuration here, and at the bottom I will be adding that unprivileged command, which will be :0. So it means that the container is not unprivileged. This is requirement. In fact, you have to make sure this is done. Of course, the configuration is updated now, but it will take the impact only once I restart the container. So I will go here, console, or I can go here to shutdown and reboot. Yes, server has started, and in this one there is nothing installed right now, so we need to install Ivantoy. And in order to install Ivantoy, I will be using this particular link here. So there is Ivantoy Linux free tar.gz. This is the link. I will be copying this link from here, copy link address, and I'll go back here to the Ivantoy container, and I will get this link by typing wget and paste that link over here and enter. It will download the zip file. Alright, so file is downloaded. If we see the list of files, so this is the file which has to be extracted. This is a zip file, and how we can extract, we'll use command called tar zxvf, and here I'll be typing the file name and enter. So now file has been extracted and there is a folder which is created. Now if I ls this, you can see here that Ivantoy folder is created, which has been extracted from this particular file. So I'll be going here, cd space Ivantoy, and I'm into the folder, and if I see the list of files here, you can see ivantoy.sh is the command that I'm going to use. But here are these other folders also, which are data, doc, and ISO. So all the ISO images will be stored here. You can even download, or you can even upload the ISO images directly into this, or you can use wget command inside this folder to download all the ISO images, and it will be available here. And you can use, of course, FTP also in case you want to upload the ISO images which are already there. So I'll show you all these methods once we install it. So we'll start installing. So we'll go ivantoy.sh, and here we need to start the service by typing the extension A. Of course, everything is available in the documentation, so we'll start. All right, so I always write the wrong spelling because inventory I have been using for a long time. ivantoy.sh-a space start. Now you can see here it shows me that PID is 0, which means that service has not yet started. I'll try again, and let me clear the screen here. And again, if I try to, of course, start this, it shows me PID is equal to 0. So one more fix here is, of course, we have done the settings here. If I go back here to the shell of PVE, and we saw here the configuration unprivileged was 0. We need to also disable the security configuration or security profile restrictions on this container. There is an extension called lxc.appermore, which is for the security module. In fact, it is for the security profile and dot profile, and here we'll be using :unconfined. So these are the security restrictions. So in case you want to disable the security restrictions on Linux container, this can be done with the help of this particular command. So I'll be doing Control X, save the configuration. We'll be going back here to the container, which is Ivantoy. I will just restart this first, and then we'll start installing Ivantoy again. All right, so we'll be logging in again to the Ivantoy after the reboot. And here, if you see the list of folders, so you have this folder which we have to open. Of course, we'll be going cd Ivantoy, and we'll be logging into the folder, clear the screen, and here list of the files, you have that command which is ivantoy.sh. So we'll be running command ivantoy.sh and space -a, and here we'll be using command start. Ivantoy has started successfully and the process ID is 302, and here you can see that it will be running on port 26,000. the IP address of this particular computer or this particular server is 192.168.240.9, and the HTTP 26,000 port will be used here. So I'll be just opening this in the browser with port 26,000. Enter. You can see here now we have successfully logged into the Inventoy server. So basic information is available here, configuration is available here, TFTP server timeout, TFTP max, retransmit, and all of that. These are the information. DHCP mode, I have to choose external, and I'll show you why I have to use that. All other information can be left as default. I'm already using pfSense as the DHCP server, so I'll be using external for that purpose. Now, if I go to MAC filter, of course, you can use MAC filters also, deny mode and permit mode, depending upon if you don't want all the machines to get the PXE boot from this particular server. And in image management, I will show you that as well. But before that, let us do the configuration here. In configuration, as I mentioned, that DHCP server mode has to be external, and I'm already using a pfSense services and DHCP server. I'm already using the PXE boot, and this was the BIOS file. So we need to add these files into your DHCP server in case you don't want to use the Ivantoy as the DHCP server. We'll be using external DHCP server, and there is a configuration also available if you go to document and if you go to third-party DHCP server. So there is configuration for external DHCP. So you can see here the boot file name. So what should be the boot file name? In external mode, the boot file name will be Ivantoy loader 16,000. So this will be the boot file. So I'll be copying this and I'll go into DHCP server, which is pfSense, and instead of default BIOS file name, which I was using XYZ PXE boot, so I'll be using this one now. And here the IP address is of course 9, and for the TFTP server also it will be 9. Let me save it for the time being, and we'll be going back here and see if any other configurations are related. So we are using default port, that's why it is 16,000. It also says that in case you have changed the port, so instead of 16,000, if you are setting up 17,000, so you can accordingly change the port. So in Ivantoy, it has not yet started. If you go back here to the Ivantoy server, and if I show you the main screen here, it has not yet started because there is no images right now available. Images mean that all the ISO images you have to get it. Suppose I will be getting the Proxmox as an ISO image. I'll copy the download URL from here, copy the link, and we'll be going back here to the Ivantoy. And in Ivantoy, as I mentioned, that ISO has to be in the ISO folder. So I'll be going here cd space ISO, and I will do wget, and I'll use this particular ISO image over here. It will get the ISO image. All right, so our first ISO image has been downloaded here in the ISO folder. And if I see the list of file, you can see here Proxmox VE 8.2.iso. And if I go back here to Ivantoy, and if I refresh this here, you can see here Proxmox VE ISO image has been detected here. And if I go to now boot information, I'll just start this now. You can see here Ivantoy is running. And in case you want to stop, you can stop it here. Now, in order to test this, whether the PXE boot is working fine, I'll be going here to Proxmox, and I'll create just a VM just to see if network boot is working. So I'll create a VM test PXE, and OS ISO image I will not be using as I need to boot from the network. So I'll be using network boot here. Everything else I will leave default, and here instead of Google Drive, I'll be installing it on, for example, I'll do 10 GB local disk, CPU, memory, network, VMBR1. This is just a test VM. We are not going to do anything here. You can see here 122 is the VM which is created. I'll go here to options here, and in boot order, I will make sure that net boot is on top. It will now boot from the network. So I'll just start this and I'll go to console. If everything goes fine, it will boot from the Pixie. It is configuring the network, and here you can see Ivantoy. And here, first ISO image which you can see here is Proxmox. So we can now get started with the Ivantoy. We can start installing. If I press enter here, it will of course load the Proxmox, and that's it. So we can start installing Proxmox using Pixie boot now. And similarly, we can add more ISO images using WinSCP, or we can download directly into the server over here. So in next video, I'll show you how we can install Proxmox using Pixie boot on network. And for Pixie boot, we are using Ivantoy, and in Ivantoy right now, image Proxmox is available. So see you in next video.